What are some common scratch techniques in turntablism? If you're curious about the art of turntablism and want to know the techniques that make those cool scratching sounds, you're in the right place. Let's break down some of the most common scratch techniques used by DJs. First off, there's the baby scratch, which is probably the simplest and most fundamental technique. It involves moving the record back and forth with your hand while the crossfader is open. This motion creates a continuous sound that's easy to practice and gets you started with scratching. Next up is the forward scratch. For this, you start with the crossfader closed, play the record forward, and then bring the crossfader towards the middle as the record moves. When the sample ends, quickly close the crossfader again. This technique introduces you to using the crossfader, which is key in more advanced scratches. The backward scratch is essentially the reverse of the forward scratch. Here, you set the crossfader to the closed position the record at the end of the sample, and then drag it back to the beginning while opening the crossfader. This creates a reversed sound that adds variety to your scratches. The scribble scratch is a bit faster and more dynamic. You make rapid back and forth motions over a short sample without using the crossfader. This technique requires some precision, but is great for adding quick, sharp sounds to your mix. Now, let's talk about the flair scratch. This involves moving the record between the start and end of a sample while quickly opening and closing the crossfader. Each time you move the fader, it creates a clicking noise, adding a stuttering effect to the sound. The more you bounce the fader, the more flair scratches you get. Another technique is the transformer scratch, named after the wah-wah sound it produces. Here, you select a longer sample and push the record back and forth while opening and closing the crossfader in rhythm with the music. This creates a continuous, wavering sound. The chirp scratch is known for its bird-like sound. You play the track forward over a sample, cut it at the end point, back cue the record to the starting position, and then turn the fader back on. This process is repeated to create a series of chirping sounds. The tear scratch is a bit more complex. You move the record backwards or forwards with short stops, creating 3 or more different sounds within the scratch. This technique adds a lot of texture and rhythm to your scratching. The crab scratch involves moving the record while quickly tapping the crossfader open or closed with each finger. This allows for very fast and precise scratches, similar to the twiddle scratch, which uses only the index and middle fingers. Finally, there's the orbit scratch, which combines forward and backward scratches with the crossfader. You close the fader twice while moving the record in a forward scratch, and then reverse it for the backward scratch, creating a series of clicking noises. These techniques are just the beginning of what you can do with turntablism. Remember, the key is to practice regularly and keep your scratches in time with the music. Happy scratching!